Alrighty, guys, I'm Morthadon, and we are here for Fairy Tale episode 299. Man, one episode away from 300 after this one. It's pretty good stuff. I forget if that's total throughout since the beginning of the show. I forget if season 2 starts at a lower number again. I don't think it does. I think that's 300 total in the show since the beginning, which is still pretty crazy. I mean, I did watch Naruto, and I'm a bit behind on One Piece, but I did watch a lot of One Piece, but it's still a lot of episodes. But yeah, guys, so last episode we had some pretty crazy stuff. We had Laxus defeating Wall, uh and I believe that was that episode that happened. And then we had Agnologia killing, or what I think is killed, God Serena, which I also think that was last episode. It might have been the previous episode, but the craziest thing that happened in the episode, which is why I'm forgetting everything else, because all the crazy stuff happened, is Ultir showed up in the like kind of like a almost like a pocket dimension, but not really. In the frozen time, Ultir showed up, which I had my gripes about, but it's fine. And they are fighting the Chronos god of time takeover over Demaria, I believe her name is, or something along. I'm pretty sure I'm close. It might not be perfect. She did a full takeover to this god of Kronos. Apparently, they're two beings sharing a body, which we haven't really seen that in Mira Jane yet. We haven't really seen that the souls that she takes in are still alive in a sense. You know, they've never showed like consciousness, but it almost seems like this god and Demaria are two separate entities inhabiting the same body, which is interesting. And they're so powerful that Wendy and Shelia are not going to be able to defeat them in time because Carla got hurt, and they basically need to beat her fast before Ultir runs out of power. And the only way to do that, apparently, is to use all of their future power. And that is going to make it so they can never use magic again after this. And I don't know if they're going to accept that. It's the third origin. I don't know if they're going to accept that. I don't want them to accept that. I want them to find another way, but I also don't want Carla to die. But I think it would be very sad if we lost Wendy and Shelia as magic users. They still might hang around the show, but at least until, you know, the show ends, which is coming up. But man, I do not want to see them lose their power, but I guess we're going to have to watch this episode to see what really happens, so let's get into it. Alrighty, so we are going to be starting the episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Yep, okay, a little bit of recap. The transformation to Kronos, god of time. Chugging some water. Oh. Okay. Right into the intro. Gotta minimize this before I see anything. Got it. We're good. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, man. I tried to, like, hold it back because I was still, like, I felt like I was still kind of swallowing my drink. I wasn't quite ready for it. And then it came out very weird. That's not how my sneezes usually sound. It sounded like I just, like, coughed or something. I don't even know. The benefits of you full-length people. You see everything, because I ain't cutting that out. Hmm. Is this the same song as usual? I'm sure it is. I like the song though. I don't know why. I don't know why it feels so different. I'm kind of looking forward to watching this intro, to be honest. Yeah, I do remember that part. Yeah, it's definitely the same song. I'm just crazy and must not pay attention too hard. Alright, so we can almost bring it back up. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so we're back. No more recap now, we're just right into it. Cool. Aw, Carla. Damn, never regenerate again. No hesitation, damn. Oh, no. Oh. So only one of them is gonna lose their magic. Ah, yeah. Wendy's a main character, so Shelly is gonna end up doing it. Probably. Unless they subvert that expectation. Ooh. Alright. Shit. It's happening. Oh, Dragon Force. Damn, Wendy. Alright, well, that's a hopeful title for a desperate situation, I suppose. Oh, jeez. All the pain you've ever experienced? Oh, I can't even imagine that. Oh, is this really her third origin? I was hoping for some super badass stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. Her Dragon Force form is amazing, but oof, what is about to happen here? I hope that's the case, because if this is her third origin, like fully released, that's kind of disappointing. Oh, something's gonna happen. She's supposed to be super fast, right? Oh. Oh, did she do it to Shelia? Oh shit, I just got chills of that friggin' face. Damn, okay, so it is Shelia. Uh... They had this much time? I mean, I know Wendy was fighting, and we probably skipped through a little bit of the fight. Oh. Nutty! Oh, Shelia. Make your last stand badass. She is a god slayer. Oh. Nice, Wendy. Oh, shit. Oh. Is it the same one she used on Wendy back then, or is it this just flashback? No, it's just flashback, okay. I wasn't sure if that was the same spell. It had like the little like feathery stuffs. Being a magical girl. I don't know why. That was just kind of funny because of a. That's a term for other like kinds of anime, I guess. I think. Oh shit. Well, all right, Wendy. Time's back. You gotta help her. You gotta move. Yes. Yeah, Carla doesn't know what happened. Yeah. You can still be friends. I like this version of the, Oh! So is she. What? Okay, so that version of her is aware of what happened in that pocket dimension? I do not understand how all that works with Ultir, but whatever. I also assumed Ultir would be dead like long ago. Like right after. Like I thought she'd get to live as an old lady for just like a tiny bit. Talk about that more later. Uh oh. Is this. Oh! Jason Statham. His name is Jacob, right? Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, if I keep calling him Jason Statham, I'm gonna get myself confused and call him the wrong thing permanently. Okay, nice. Well, nice for them, not nice for us. I wonder what kind of magic this guy uses. He looks goofy, but I like his outfit. I like the idea of like assassin type people that wear a suit with like the black gloves. Is always like badass. He looks a little goofy with the skull on his forehead. Alright. So I'm just wondering, never failed a job, damn. Who is gonna fight this guy? Oh! Natsu revived! Duh. The episode title. Is Natsu gonna save the day? Oh, what's his magic? Oh shit. Some kind of like spatial magic? Poof to different dimension. Poor friggin' Mavis all alone. Oh. Oh shit. What is his magic then? Fuck. Natsu! Oh no. What? So that can even damage her real body. I don't know if that's something that his magic can do specifically, or. But she's also supposed to be immortal, though, right? I don't know. Lucy! Lucy kick? Leo! Is Leo gonna come out? She never summons the actual spirits anymore. Where's Leo? 5 minutes prior. Okay. Oh, jeez. Her her clothes are gone again. Save Natsu, too. God. God damn it. I like her star dress, or what? Is that what she called it? Or her Leo like outfit? I still wish she would summon the damn spirits again, though. That was like her whole thing. Throwing knives. Natsu just took it to the arm. What? Oh, he melted it. That is badass. Oh, he looks so badass with that scar, to be honest. Face scars are so badass. It's a good song, too. Got me all hyped. Regardless. Friggin' why does every enemy Natsu fight say I'm all fired up? Oh, that was sick. Oh, doing some wrestling moves on him. Oh shit. So he can do some kind of spatial thing on himself as well. Oof. Camouflage with complete invisibility. Damn. Ooh. Thank you for summoning Loki. God. Ooh. So what happened to everybody in the guild hall? I wonder. Does he have another ability too? Because he has like those attacks too. An invisible weapon. Okay. Hmm. It reminds me of Saber's weapon from Fate. Oh god, please don't just destroy her clothes. Oh my god. God damn it. Natsu is just like Oh, I love Natsu. God damn it. But it also damages me. Freaking Natsu. Oh my god. What is happening? I don't... Nice. Okay. Okay, good. He's not down. If that would have defeated him... What? 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 No. Oh my god. Alright. I'm not watching the outro yet. I'm gonna have to talk about that in discussion. You're gonna wait. You guys are gonna wait to hear my thoughts on that. Such a ridiculous second half of the episode. What the hell? Oh. Friggin' fairy tales sometimes, man. It's ridiculous. So, I wonder where August is. I'll talk about that a little bit in discussion as well. Because he should have arrived there as well, which means he could be up to some trickery. Alrighty. No, go away. Alrighty, guys, so that is the end of episode 299. That was... okay. So I liked the episode, but once again, it did this weird thing where, like, before a fight gets serious, they do the whole, like... the whole weird fan service-y, like... almost trying to make you like the enemy a bit before the fight continues, you know? But... and to give some, like, personality to the character. But it seems like they do that so much with that same, like, style that it isn't really giving the character personality, so I don't even know if that's their goal. Because it's just like a repeat of the same thing that has happened time and time again, you know? But... anyways, let's talk about the episode starting from the beginning, which is the Wendy and Shelly a bit. With the Kronos, God of Time, and Ultir. So... they spent a lot of time doing a back and forth of, like, who's gonna be the one to unlock the third origin once we found out that it was only one person that was gonna do it. Because, so, my thought was, I mean, it makes sense that only one person can do it because the other one has to heal after, but my thought was both of them could have did it, and they had enough time to heal afterwards, you know? So that's what I thought was gonna happen, but I guess they didn't end up doing that just because they only wanted one person to sacrifice themselves. And my first thought when that became a thing was it's gonna be Shelia because Wendy's, you know, more of a main character. But then Wendy said she'd do it, did her whole Dragon Force thing, so I thought maybe they'll subvert the expectations and really have it be Wendy. But no, it ended up being Shelia. But, that, like, even though it was Shelia, I would have been a lot more emotional if it was Wendy. But I was actually pretty emotional that it was Shelia, just because the fact that some of these people might die, I don't know if they actually will, or the potential for them to, like, lose their magic, and just all of these things that have to do with a show coming to a close, you know? I think the biggest thing that made me emotional this episode was just the thought of the show ending, you know? And so even though I'm not super attached to Shelia as a character, I still, like, my eyes started to water up a little bit just because I had it running through my head at just, like, a mile a minute that, like, if Wendy or Shelia could lose their powers this episode, other people could lose their powers. Other people could die because we saw God Serena die, so they're not scared of that anymore. Um, we had Loxus sick, but I'm not sure if he has a permanent cure with what happened to him last episode, with the whole enchantment thing and erasing the Bane particles, or is that just temporary? I have no idea. But uh, they've just been more willing to show blood and stuff recently than I think they have throughout most of the series. So I wonder if they got like a different time slot on TV, because I know that's the kind of thing like even in the US you can't show too much graphic content until past a certain hour in the day. I don't know what time it is in the US, but I'm guessing Japan has a similar rule to that, because I've heard about the whole like time slot thing causing animes to be more censored than they were intended to be. But regardless of that, I guess to sum it up, it was just the thought of the show ending and what could potentially happen before the show ends was just so heart-wrenching to me to think about in that moment that I actually got way more emotional than I thought I would for Shelia losing her magic. But she, I feel like her magic isn't the flashiest thing. Like, it's cool. It has like a weird, like, it's like mostly black with like a little bit of like purple outlining, sorta. And it leads for some interesting stuff, but I felt like I wasn't as hyped for her final move as what it could have been. It focused more on flashbacks and her relationship with Wendy than actually having her final magic bits be like badass. Like the thing is I guess I'm spoiled by the fact of Hunter x Hunter and the way they did it, and just having like, I feel like if you were to amass all of the power of your future self, it would be way more than what we just saw there, and I guess I'm just a little underwhelmed at that, but it's fine. It was still a very good moment, and she still won the fight, and it does make a lot of sense that she was the one that ended up doing it, because I didn't even take into the account, like, the God Slayer thing. Mostly because throughout this whole show, if there's one thing I've learned, is that whether you're a God Slayer or a Dragon Slayer, it doesn't really mean that you can slay that thing. Like, we've seen Natsu kill technically a god, the battle god, during the whole Avatar thing. So you don't need God Slayer magic to defeat those for that. You can just use normal magic, or Dragon Slayer magic. And then we've seen dragons and Dragon Slayers, every Dragon Slayer that we know of fighting them, and they still weren't able to even really put a scratch on one, you know? Like, I don't even think they really injured any of them during that fight. So, I guess I just put it in my head that, these different Slayer kind of magics were just titles. It was just like, wasn't actually meant to slay their targets, even though they say they are. But, it does make sense that a God Slayer would go up against them, and it seemed like the God Slayer magic actually worked, because, like, each hit seemed to be reverting Demaria back to her form and getting rid of the takeover kind of stuff. So, it was kind of interesting. It's cool to see God Slayer magic actually work, if that's what it was. And then, I guess, I'm glad that Carla is okay. I don't know why it all felt so anticlimactic. Like, seeing all of her future power wasn't very, like, hype. It was emotional because of what it meant for her and the flashbacks they showed, but the actual, like, fight itself wasn't super hype, with, like, how much power she obtained, like I already said. And then also the way Carla was healed, it was just like so fast that it was like it wasn't as emotional as they could have made it. I feel like it all just kind of went by really quickly, and the fight's over, Carla's better, and then we move on to a whole different thing. But I'll also never understand the Altier thing. I don't know if this is a problem with the anime adaptation and maybe they explain it better in the manga, because I know sometimes that's a thing where the manga explains things a lot better and the anime just tries to adapt it in and throw it in real quick and it doesn't always work well. But I don't really know how that whole thing worked. It seemed like Ultir as the old lady, who is apparently still around and kicking, uh, is like was aware of what happened. So she was somehow in that area during the frozen time. So when time was frozen, was the whole world frozen and she just kind of like bamfed out of her body, turned into a younger version of herself and did what she did. And then when she crumbled away, her like soul and memories and stuff returned to her old lady body, and that's how she knew what happened. I don't like, maybe we're just not supposed to think much into it, but I usually like to understand the mechanics of how all this stuff works, and not just like not understand what I'm looking at and just accept it. But I guess for now I'm just gonna accept it. Maybe some of you guys might know, and you can let me know in the comments or something. But I don't know. Anyways, let's move on to what happened next, which was, I believe, right after that, we transitioned over to Jacob going into the guild hall. And I actually want to reopen the episode to see exactly what he said really quick. Let's see if I can find the episode. I just closed it because it was in like preview territory, although I didn't pay attention to any of the preview. Okay, I should be able to get to it fairly quickly, I think. Because he does a little line where he says everything his power can do. And that's what I want to see. Is it here? That's not all. I can see what's invisible too. Okay, so we're not quite there yet. I'll just let it play until we get to that point. But basically, Jacob's power is very interesting. I'm still wondering what he did, which is why I'm going back to look at this stuff right now. I'm curious what he did to everybody in the guild, because it seems like his power is to make himself invisible and to make things around him invisible, but it doesn't seem like all the members of the guild are just invisible. But it's also, oh, here it is. Extinguishing, disappearing, observing, and concealing. So I guess they'll probably explain in the next episode potentially what happened to the guild members. Uh I wonder if it's kind of like, to talk about Hunter x Hunter again, if it's like the one guy ability on there that allows you to be invisible and touch like anything and they don't even like realize that you're touching it. So maybe it's something like that where all the members are still there in the guild hall where they were, but they just can't interact with anybody who is, not invisible, Like the people who are not invisible have no idea what they're doing. But if that were the case, they should still be able to attack, and they could attack Jacob from being invisible. So it's almost like it warped them into like a pocket dimension, but it doesn't seem like that's what his ability does. But I'm not sure what extinguishing means. That could be what it is, but they're still alive, so I don't know what it entirely is. Hopefully we find out more next episode. But I mentioned during this episode, during the fight, uh, that he is able to make his weapons invisible, which reminds me of Saber from Fate. And one of the big things about fighting Saber in Fate with her invisible weapon is that you don't know like the reach and stuff. So that's like one of the biggest things that he has that's like really cool. Even if he's just, I don't know, like if his weapons are all just normal weapons, you know? Like at one point he did like a whip thing and hit Lucy from behind him. I don't know if that was just a normal whip that he has invisible, you know? Which is interesting because my first thought when I think of this is if he has a ton of different weapons in order to like change it up so that way you don't learn the reach and stuff, like you could have, you know, the whip and then you can kind of anticipate a whip even if you can't see it, so then he switches to something else. But I just imagine that this guy, if he takes off his invisibility spell, that he is just covered in weapons. Like he's like just got like staffs and like swords and bows and knives and stuff like all over his body, but he just keeps them invisible so he just looks cool, you know? And you don't know like which ones he has on him. That'd be like kind of a cool thing if that was a thing. That was just the first thing I thought of. It reminds me of like uh there's like joke pictures because of like MMORPGs where you have a backpack full of loot and you know you can have like tons and tons of weapons, and there's some people who have like photoshopped all of those weapons that you have in your inventory on the character itself and it looks ridiculous. And that's what I like imagine this guy looks like for real if he was like, you know, took all of his invisibility stuff down. um but it's pretty cool that, you know, it makes sense for an assassin kind of persona, I guess is what he's going for, to be invisibility, you know. And what's it called? Words are escaping me right now. Shoot. Oh, I guess I also wanted to say it's kind of cool that he can see other invisible things too, which means he's able to see Mavis and also hurt her. And like I said during the episode, I'm not sure if he's able to hurt her because of his magic, or if anybody, like, could anybody hurt Mavis in her ghost form, but they just can't see her, so they can't hurt her, you know? Like if someone did like a really big AoE attack and Mavis was in the vicinity, would she get hurt like that? Or because they just like accidentally hit her? Or is it something special with this guy's magic because he can see her, he can also hit her, you know, kind of thing? And normal people's magic would just go right through. I'm a little confused by the whole. They put like a magic-y effect on like the attacks hitting them, you know? But from the words he used, it seems like it's just invisible weapons. So I don't know why there's that like magic effect on them unless they're like magic weapons in a sense. I don't know. It's interesting. As we fight them in like the next episode, I'm guessing is where we're gonna fight them. For real, hopefully, and not none of this like weird goofy stuff going on. Then I'm sure we'll see. You know, we'll learn more about his power as the fight goes on. He'll do some monologuing or just actually like visual stuff will show it to us, you know? So I'm looking forward to that. And then I guess I don't have much to say about the goofy stuff. I touched on it a little bit at the start of the discussion, but I'm not always the biggest fan of the kind of thing they did here where, like, oh, I mean, I guess I can understand the Horologium having his spell be like have to activate so quickly that he just grabs them without their clothes, you know. I can kind of justify that, but the point in this episode where Jacob makes Lucy's clothes invisible but then he can't look himself, and like cuz it damages him, it was so over the top ridiculous, and I know that's what it was supposed to be, and that's what they were aiming for, and they succeeded at doing that. But it's just not my style of comedy, I guess. Like, there were some points that made me laugh. Mainly, I think the biggest parts that made me laugh was Natsu breaking the fourth wall. I guess I could minimize this so I don't have the as much light shining on my eyes. You can kind of see my eyes a little better. My bad. But Natsu not really breaking the fourth wall, but kind of close. He kind of Natsu a lot of the time says what the audience is thinking, and I think that's why I feel like it breaks the fourth wall is because when Natsu was seeing Lucy with like barely any clothes on, he's like, well, Lucy's always like this, so what's the big deal? You know, so I think that's like one of the funniest things that came out of this whole situation. I felt like there was another thing that made me laugh really hard, but I can't quite recall what it was at this point. I guess I could skip through a little more, but I mean, for the most part, I'm just not the biggest fan of I don't know. Yeah. I couldn't even find it, honestly. I don't even know what else made me laugh. Maybe it was just that part that I was talking about. I don't know. But regardless of all that, like I said, even like I try to enjoy it and I try to have fun with it, but there's just part of me in the back of my mind like, why do we have to sit through this, you know? But, you know, Fairy Tail has done it so much and for so long that I'm still surprised by it when it happens because I expect a serious fight for something like this. But once it happens and looking back on it, I'm like, well, they do it all the time, so oh well. But yeah, guys, I'm kind of rambling now about nothingness. I think that sums up the majority of the episode. Oh, no! Shit! How did I forget? The last bit! The most important part of the episode. I kind of wish I talked about this at the beginning now. Sorry. I don't even know if anybody stuck around long enough to hear this bit. But frickin' Mavis, what did she come up with? She just discovered the way to defeat Zareth, apparently. And the way she did it was by watching Lucy lose her clothes and tricking him by that kind of thing. I found that was one of the funniest things this episode is just Mavis somehow took this weird ass situation where Lucy's clothes are turning invisible. She's pretending to get naked. This guy is friggin' on top of Natsu, like overreacting, freaking out. And then what Mavis pulls out of that is, oh, I know how to defeat Zareth now. Like, what? What did she come up with? What did that situation teach her? So I'm really looking forward to that because that was so funny. Oh man. Oh God. Okay. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say for that. I found that hilarious. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. I'm gonna be ending here. It's actually getting very warm in my room. I want to turn my air conditioner back on, and I want to get to editing this episode and everything because it's kind of late. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you wish to support the channel, you can hit that subscribe button. You can check the description for links to my Patreon, my anime list, and my Twitch stream. And I did a very quick ending there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one where hopefully we will see Jacob fight and learn how Mavis found out whatever she found out. Alrighty guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.